Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome you all to our annual Anzac Day ceremony at Bendigo Senior Secondary College. The theme for this year's ceremony is Service Without End, honouring the Anzac spirit from Gallipoli to Iraq to Afghanistan and the 111 years since the landing of Gallipoli. As we commence this very important ceremony, I would like to remind you to please turn off your mobile phones. Audience members are warned that today's proceedings may contain images of deceased persons. I would like to welcome Uncle Jim Kerr, the Cultural Heritage Artefact Officer of the Dja Dja Wurrung of the Cultural Heritage Land Management Group, who will share the Welcome to Country.
Thank you very much for that. Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Jason Kerr. I'm a descendant of the Dja Dja Wurrung people. I'd like to welcome you all onto this land, the land of Dja Dja Wurrung people. The tradition of welcoming people to country is something Jara and other Aboriginal cultures have been doing for thousands of years. Dja Dja Wurrung people remain strongly connected to our land, and we continue to practice our culture in a contemporary way. Anzac Day is a very important day for us all to remember and reflect on the service of the men and women who have fought for this country and served in other conflicts. I invite you to reflect on the many First Nations people who have fought for this country. First Nations people have fought in every conflict Australia has faced. They volunteered and fought even when Aboriginal people were not obligated to join up. I would like to welcome everyone here on the grounds that we stand here today, which is Dja Dja Wurrung country. We also give respects to our elders, our old people, our ancestors. We also give respects to the young emerging leaders. It is through the younger generation where our future lies. Through their feet, hands and voice, where we hope they strive for more than what we could. We also give respects to our elders in our communities that have laid down the foundations for us here today. We also give respects to the landscape, which is the soil, our air, even the mountains, our hills, our cultural valleys, everything associated in the Jara landscape. I also want to pay our respects to your elders, your leaders, your families, extended families in working in together. So thank you and welcome you all here on the homelands of Dja Dja Wurrung country.
Thank you, Jason, for the welcome to country. Distinguished guests, visitors, staff and students, we are assembled here today to remember our past students and staff who gave their lives in the fight for freedom and peace. They gave so much for the sake of our future. We honour them today in the tradition of the Anzacs. I am Bella Roshmire Ray, and together with our student ambassadors, Brooke Ludeman, AJ Moon, Port Ewa, Aria Marwood, Ashton Dazza and Sophie Granger, we will be your hosts for this Anzac ceremony. A special welcome to our guest speaker for today, Squadron Leader Naomi Holmes, and the President of the Bendigo RSL, Glenn Ludeman. We would also like to welcome here today all current serving and ex-service personnel and their families. Welcome to His Worship, the Mayor of the City of Greater Bendigo, Thomas Prince. Welcome Bendigo Senior Secondary College Council members and our members of Old Gold. In addition, we welcome here today our bugle player, Rachel Hamilton, and our piper, Jordan Wilkinson.
This is one of the most important days on our college calendar. It gives us all the opportunity to join together as a college community to thank and remember all of the servicemen and women who have served this great country and given us the lifestyle and freedom that we have become accustomed to. Today, we remember our servicemen and women, not only for the past, but those who serve and continue to serve our great country or who have died or been disabled in the recent conflicts such as Afghanistan and Iraq. As part of the ceremony, the New Zealand and Australian national anthems will be performed. The New Zealand national anthem will be performed by Matilda Wilby, and the Australian national anthem will be performed by Annabelle Dashwood, and both will be accompanied by Michael McLean on piano. For those who would like to, we now invite our guests, staff and students to please stand for the national anthems.
Thank you, Matilda, Annabelle and Michael. Please all be seated. Anzac stands for Australian and New Zealand Army Corps. So why is this day special to Australians? On the morning of the 25th of April, 1915, the Anzacs set out to capture the Gallipoli Peninsula in order to open the Dardanelles waterway to the Allied navies. The objective was to capture Constantinople, now known as Istanbul, in Turkey. The Anzacs landed on Gallipoli and met fierce resistance from the Ottoman Turkish defenders. Their plan to knock Turkey out of the war quickly became a stalemate, and the campaign dragged on for 8 months. It is for this reason we remember the Anzacs. I would like to invite our Principal, Kylie Hand, to come forward and officially welcome and thank our guests and students. Please make her welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our official guests, staff and students. In particular, I would like to warmly welcome our former students and the representatives from the armed forces who we are fortunate to have with us today. Today we gather to remember the courage, sacrifice and spirit of the men and women who served our nation. Tomorrow, on Anzac Day, we pause not only to honour those who fought at Gallipoli, but all Australians and New Zealanders who have served in conflicts, peacekeeping missions and humanitarian missions across the world. Students, many of those who served were not much older than you are now when they were called to war. They were young people with hopes, plans and families who cared deeply for them. Yet they stepped forward in times of uncertainty, guided by a powerful sense of duty and loyalty to others. Recently, I reread School on the Hill, the book that tells the history of our wonderful college. In it are descriptions of assemblies much like this one, where the names of staff and students were read aloud to announce that they had been killed in the war. These were ordinary Bendigo people, members of this very community, who were asked to face the most extraordinary of challenges. Many of them made the ultimate sacrifice. It is difficult to imagine the grief and the weight that must have been felt by the school and the wider community during these times. As we look beyond our own community today, we also recognise that the world continues to experience significant conflict. In many places, people are living with the uncertainty, hardship and fear that war brings. Moments like this remind us how fortunate we are to live in a country where we can gather safely, learn freely, and look forward to the future with hope. The freedoms and security we experience today have been shaped by the sacrifices of those who served before us. For our students, standing on the edge of your own futures, Anzac Day is also a time to reflect on the values that came to define the Anzac spirit: mateship, resilience, and service to something greater than ourselves. While I sincerely hope that you never face the same trials, you can carry these values into your own lives, supporting one another, standing up for what is right, and always choosing compassion and empathy over hatred and division. The way we treat each other matters. If we truly wish to honour the legacy of the Anzacs, we do so not only through remembrance, but through the lives that we lead, strengthening our communities through kindness, listening to and accepting different perspectives, and helping to build a more peaceful and understanding world. And today, as we remember those who served and those who never returned home, we offer our gratitude and our respect. Their sacrifices shaped the freedoms we live with today, and their legacy lives on in the choices we make. I hope that tomorrow, many of you will take the time to attend an Anzac Day service, and that in doing so, you reflect on the way of life we all enjoy because of the service of others. I would like to thank all of those that have played a part in the organisation and presentation of today's ceremony, and in particular, I would like to thank Jason Kerr, who supported the cultural welcome to today's event, to our musicians and instrumental music staff, Ash Bird, Jackie Tolhurst, and our piper, Jordan Wilkinson, to the students involved in the ceremony as performers, presenters and ushers, and to the staff and students who have assisted in setting up for today's ceremony, and in particular to Tanya O'Gorman, Glenn Ludeman, Jess McWilliam and Sharon McColl, and also to Anne-Marie Burgess, who has previously looked after this service for many, many years. It is now my pleasure to hand you back to Bella, who will take today's proceedings forward from this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Kylie. We would now like to introduce our next musical item, Fields of Poppies, music by Sting, performed by Matilda Wilby, Annabelle Dashwood and Aria Marwood.
Thank you for that wonderful performance. I would like to introduce the President of the Bendigo RSL, Mr. Glenn Ludeman. Glenn joined the Australian Army in 1991. His operational service includes Bougainville, Papua New Guinea, East Timor, Timor-Leste, and multiple tours of Afghanistan. He has also served during federal and state emergencies. Please make Bendigo District RSL President, Mr. Glenn Ludeman, welcome.
Veterans, families of veterans, ladies and gentlemen, staff and students, good afternoon. On Anzac Day, a solemn and sacred occasion, we gather to reflect and pay tribute to those who have served and those who continue to serve our nation. We also pause to honour the 103,021 Australians who paid the supreme sacrifice in its defence. Today, we commemorate the bravery, resilience and sacrifice of our servicemen and women, past and present. We remember those who fought on distant shores, who endured unimaginable hardship, and who gave their lives to protect the freedoms that we hold dear. Anzac Day holds a special place in the hearts of Australians and New Zealanders. It marks the anniversary of the landing of the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps at Gallipoli in 1915, a moment where courage, mateship and sacrifice forged a legacy that continues to shape our national identity. But Anzac Day is more than a single battle or a single day. It is a time to honour all who have served in the defence of our nation and our way of life. Today, I acknowledge and pay tribute to the many veterans here with us. It is now my great honour to ask you to turn your attention to a very special gentleman among us. Mr. John Todd is 101 years of age. As a young boy living in London during the dark days of the Second World War Blitz, he experienced firsthand of the devastation of war. Rather than be defined by hardship, he made a choice that speaks to the courage beyond his years to serve. As soon as he was old enough, at an age like many of you here today, he joined the army. He went on to serve in the Second World War, in places and under conditions that tested the very limits of human endurance, in defence of freedom and all that we hold dear today. His service is not just a chapter in history, it's a living legacy. Mr. Todd represents a generation whose sacrifice, resilience and sense of duty shaped the world we now inherit. It is because of men like him that we gather here in peace. And if his remarkable spirit is not already clear, he marked his 90th and 91st birthdays by freefall skydiving alongside his son Greg, who is also a veteran here today, and his grandson. I now ask, if you're able, please stand with me as a mark of our deepest respect and gratitude and join me in acknowledging this wonderful veteran and gentleman, Mr. John Todd. Please be seated. I would also like to make special mention of another distinguished guest, Mr. Neville Clark, MC OAM, a recipient of the Military Cross, the Centenary Medal and the Medal of the Order of Australia. Then a school teacher, Lieutenant Clark was commissioned in the Army in 1964. In 1967, during the Vietnam War, his actions in combat displayed exceptional bravery and saved many lives, for which he was awarded the Military Cross. In later years, he was awarded the Centenary Medal in 2001 and the Medal of the Order of Australia in recognition of his outstanding contribution to education as a teacher and headmaster. We also warmly welcome the Executive Director of the Australian Defence Association, Lieutenant Colonel Neil James, retired, the Vice President of RSL Victoria, Mr. Peter Swandale, the President of the Bendigo Legacy Club, Mr. Tim Evans. Legacy supports the partners and children of veterans who have lost their lives due to ill health from service. We acknowledge Noel and Peter Reedy, who tragically lost their brother Paul Reedy during the Vietnam War, who are here with us. Neil and Murray Trimble, who lost their brother Bevan Trimble in the same conflict. Chris Walters, who's here with us, whose father enlisted at just 16 years of age and served on the Western Front in the First World War. And to Faye Fruin, who lost her great uncle, Jack Bray, who's here with us, the First World War casualty from this region. I extend my respect to all veterans and their families present today, whose support and sacrifice are an enduring part of service. To all here today, to those that have served and those that stand beside you, you're in our thoughts, not just on Anzac Day, but every day. I encourage our community to support the Anzac Appeal. Buy a badge, a pen, a wristband, a token, wear it with pride, or donate to the RSL Welfare Fund, knowing that 100% of it supports veterans and their dependents. Some veterans are facing homelessness, some are struggling day to day, and some are fighting battles we cannot see. This fundraising effort allows us to provide vital support, financial assistance, emergency accommodation, and essential services to those who need it most, lest we forget.
Thanks so much, Glenn. Today's guest speaker is Squadron Leader Naomi Holmes, whom I'm very fortunate to introduce to you. Squadron Leader Holmes grew up in Bendigo and attended Hundley Primary School and Catholic College. After graduating in 1999, she entered the Australian Defence Force Academy, initially joining the Royal Australian Navy before transferring to the Royal Australian Air Force in 2004 as an air traffic control officer. She has served at several RAF bases, including Darwin, Richmond, and Amberley, and held multiple roles. Squadron Leader Holmes has deployed on multiple operations, supporting Australian air operations in Malaysia, the Middle East, and the broader region. After a period in the Air Force Reserve working in the civilian aviation software industry, she returned full-time service in 2024 and now works on the F-35 fighter jet aircraft acquisition project. She currently serves as the Air Traffic Control Capability Realization Manager at Headquarters Surveillance and Response Group. Squadron Leader Holmes lives in Euroa and is honored to return to her hometown of Bendigo as this year's guest speaker. Please make Squadron Leader Naomi Holmes welcome.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, students, teachers, veterans, serving members, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we gather today, the Dja Dja Wurrung people, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. I extend that respect to any Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. But before I go any further, I want you to think about something for a moment. Many of the soldiers who landed at Gallipoli were only 18 or 19 years old, not much older than many of you sitting here today. They had just finished school, they were starting their adult lives, and suddenly found themselves travelling across the world and facing challenges they could never have imagined. Standing here today is actually quite special for me. I grew up here in Bendigo, and like many of you, sat in classrooms not far from here as a student at Catholic College Bendigo. At that stage in my life, I didn't have everything figured out, but I knew I wanted to do something meaningful. After finishing high school, I made the decision to join the Australian Defence Force. At the time, it was simply a choice to step forward and take on a challenge. But looking back now, it set me on a path of service that has shaped the last 27 years of my life. Anzac Day is a time when we Australians pause to remember the men and women who have served our country in war, conflict, and peacekeeping operations. The tradition began with the landing of Australian and New Zealand troops at Gallipoli in 1915. The campaign itself was difficult and costly, but something lasting came from it, a spirit that has come to define how Australians see themselves. We call it the Anzac spirit. It is often described through 4 simple values: courage, mateship, endurance, and service. Courage means doing what is right even when it is difficult. Mateship means standing by and supporting the people beside you. Endurance means pushing through when things are tough. And service means contributing to something bigger than yourself. Those values did not end at Gallipoli. For more than a century, Australians have carried them wherever they have served, from the First World War to Vietnam, from peacekeeping missions around the world to more recent operations in Iraq and Afghanistan. I have had the privilege of serving in the Australian Defence Force for 27 years, including support of operations in Iraq and Afghanistan. And in my years serving, I saw firsthand the professionalism, courage, and mateship of the Australians I served alongside. What struck me most was that the qualities we talk about on Anzac Day are not just part of history, they are still alive today in the people who serve. But service does not only happen in the military. Service happens in communities, in workplaces, in schools, and in everyday life. For you as students, the Anzac spirit might look different. It might mean showing courage when something is difficult, standing up for a friend who needs support, or working hard to make a positive contribution to your community. The Anzac story reminds us that ordinary people are capable of extraordinary things when they look out for each other and act with integrity. Here in Bendigo, generations of Australians have answered the call to serve our country. Their legacy is not only remembered in memorials or ceremonies, it is carried forward by the values we choose to live by today. And if there's one thing I would say to you, standing here as someone who once sat in classrooms just like yours, it's this: you don't have to have everything figured out right now. But if you focus on living with courage, supporting the people around you, and contributing in a positive way, you'll be on the right path. Because the Anzac spirit is not something that belongs only in the past. It lives on in the choices we make, in how we look out for one another, and how we serve our communities. From Gallipoli to the conflicts of more recent times and into the future, the Anzac spirit endures. And as long as we stand up for each other, for our communities and our country, that spirit will never fade, lest we forget.
Thank you, Naomi, for sharing your stories here with us and for the amazing work you do. Peace cannot be taken for granted, especially with the conflicts around the world today. We would now like to introduce the students who will be performing the next musical item, Never Let Go, which is written by Brian Adams. Never Let Go will be performed by Ryan McPartlane, Elliot Downey, Harry Crisp, Jefferson Porter, and Liam Rosedale. Please make our musicians welcome.
Would you lay your life down so a stranger can live? Can you take what you need, take less than you give? Could you close every day without the glory and fame? Could you hold your head high when no one knows your name? That's how legends are made. That's what they say. We say goodbye, but never let go. We live, we die, 'cause you can't save every soul. Gotta take every chance to show that you're the kind of man who never look back, never look down. Everything you ever planned. Can you sit down again, play another hand? Could you risk everything, feel the chance of being alone? Under pressure, find the grace. Would you come undone? That's how legends are made. That's what they say. We say goodbye, never let go. We live, we die, 'cause you can't save every soul. Gotta take every chance to show that you're the kind of man who never look back and never look down. Never let go.
Thank you for that beautiful rendition of Never Let Go. We will shortly ask you to stand whilst the Ode for the Fallen is recited. The Ode is the fourth stanza of Lawrence Bignon's poem For the Fallen, and is traditionally included in Anzac services. The words "Lest we forget" are not part of the poem, but rather a response to the beautiful, thought-provoking words.
The last post is the trumpet or bugle call sounded in the barracks and other military installations at 10 p.m. each night to mark the end of the day's activities. It is also sounded at military funerals and commemorative services to indicate that a soldier's day has drawn to a close. Rachel Hamilton will play the last post at our ceremony today. Silence for 1 minute is included in the Anzac ceremony as a sign of respect. It offers a time for reflection on the significance of this ceremony. Observation of the minute silence first occurred in Adelaide in 1916 on the first anniversary of the landing of Gallipoli.
After 1 minute silence, the flag is raised from half-mast to full-mast as the rouse is sounded. Traditionally, the rouse called the soldiers to arise, ready to fight another day. Please observe silence during this time. When the rouse begins, raise your head and look towards the stage for the raising of the flag. Please stand for the Ode.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them, lest we forget.
Lest we forget.
Thank you, Rachel. Could you all now please be seated?
Today, we stand here safe and free. We give thanks to all those who have served and continue to serve this great country of ours. We are particularly thankful for the enduring spirit of the Anzacs that continues today in times of hardship, such as droughts, cyclones, floods, and bushfires. We also remember those students and staff who once attended Bendigo High School and who sacrificed their lives for our freedom. We give thanks, we honour them, and we will not forget.
World War I impacted heavily on the school community, and it was later said, "The victory has been dearly bought, and the bitter price paid by our oldest Bendigo families for the boon of liberty." We lost a large number of men and women from Bendigo in World War I and again in World War II.
In 1942, the Men's Auxiliary dug trenches around the school grounds for the protection of the students and staff. Mr. F. Smith, Bendigo High headmaster in 1945, said, "The school's loss is a nation's loss, for these young men who have given all had so much to give." In 1956, the memorial steps were constructed at the front of the college, and in 1957, they were dedicated to those who served from our college community. The plaque at the bottom of the memorial steps reads, "This memorial is erected to remind all who pass this way of those who served and suffered that our way of life might be preserved." If you have not already today, please consider this when you next walk up the front steps of our college.
We will shortly invite the student body and staff to join the President of the Bendigo District RSL Sub-Branch, Glenn Luderman, Bendigo Senior Secondary College, Principal Kylie Hand, and Squadron Leader Naomi Holmes in the ceremonial walk to the plaza.
We would like to thank our veterans and special guests for their attendance here today and invite them to join our student leadership members for a light luncheon upstairs in the balcony area of the theatre.
Thank you to the Piper, Mr. Jordan Wilkinson, who will lead the ceremonial walk to the plaza where wreaths will be laid. We would also like to thank Ash Bird and the music students who participated today for their wonderful performances. As you leave the theatre, the names of veterans from Bendigo who served in World War II will be shown on the screen. We would like to pay a special tribute to Jean Capuano, who created this scroll and sadly passed away in 2024.
We ask that students remain seated in the theatre, reflecting on the names that will appear on the screen until veterans and guests leave for the procession. Students will be directed by a staff member when it is time for your area to exit. Please follow the distinguished guests. Special guests who are unable to make this walk today, please remain seated, and a student member will assist you to the upstairs area of the theatre for a light lunch. Thank you all for your attendance and participation in this important ceremony today. Lest we forget.